Hi and welcome. I'm so excited to be here with the amazing Jennifer Grigg. Jennifer has been a very valued member in the Ultimate Uplevel Academy for the last few months. She's only halfway through, but she has had incredible transformation in such a short space of time. So I want to introduce you to the amazing Jen. Jen works full-time in the fire service, but she's also got her own business where she works as a body language awareness trainer. Really interesting stuff. So I'm going to hand you over to Jen now just to tell you a little bit more about what she does and who she helps.
Good morning, Natasha. At least good morning here and where I am in the world, which is Ontario, Canada. I am so thrilled to have this opportunity to chat and share a little bit about my journey in the academy. So as you mentioned, I do work full-time in the fire service, but I've always had another side of me. I think of it as kind of balancing the masculine and the feminine. And I definitely find that largely in part due to being in the academy that I'm able to tap into my more feminine side, my more intuitive side, and into the natural gifts and the way that I can help women. So what I'm doing right now is body language awareness training. I just launched a 6-week course, my very first online course called Body Language Badassery, to help women learn to tap into their body language and harness it to feel more comfortable and confident and be able to interact with people on a whole new level. So it's been a very exciting endeavor for me. And a lot of it is due to the work I've done in this program.
That sounds amazing and so different and unique as well to see you bring in that. I've never seen that before, so it's really like exciting to bring what that kind of specialism to the online industry.
It's as you're talking, I'm thinking that it's probably more unique than I'm even aware of. And because it was just a tool that I started to study to help myself with social anxiety, and I found it so powerful, I started teaching it. But because I was still so heavy into the kind of the masculine side, I started teaching it to fire services. And instinctively, I knew there was a whole other realm for me and another path for me with this. But I think it just kind of became clearer as I was listening to you speak there. So again, the insights never stop. It's amazing.
Fab. And what drew you to the Ultimate Uplevel Academy? What made you decide to join?
I've been following your stuff for a long time, and I'm sure you've heard this from many other people because I mentioned it to Christy in my heart healing session, and she laughed because she said it's not the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last. But I had followed you for a very long time, and then there was a real disconnect for me with the way you were talking about money because that wasn't my experience, and I went into the and unfollowed you for a little while, and then I came back around, or you came back around in my awareness. And all of a sudden it was I was coming from a different perspective. So, and it wasn't long after that that I saw the academy come up, and I was just like, it's time. This is time. Like, it was one of those things that I didn't have to think about. And as a chronic overthinker, there's been a handful of times where something has just resonated so deeply I knew to take action, and I didn't have to think about it. And enrolling in the academy was one of those times. So perfect timing, perfect place I was at, I guess.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and you are right. That's not the first time I've heard that. I guess I can trigger some people with my content or some of the things that I talk about, of course. But those people always end up coming back. So it's just part of your path that you fly off for a little bit and then come back again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've been in the Ultimate Uplevel Academy 3 months now. So you're halfway through. And in that time, you've done the authentic visibility, healing the outcast, success saboteur, and Wealth and With Mastery is just finishing up. So that's healing the hustler, success saboteur. And I know there's going to be a lot for you to share here because lots of things have changed for you. But what would you say were the sort of first things you noticed that changed for you?
I think that most recently, it was that the hustler was such a big thing for me. And now sitting in the awareness I have, I'm like, how did I not see this sooner? Even when I thought I had done the work, even in both programs, the hustler one just came up right in my face again within the last couple of days. And I was like, wow. But the transformation, I can kind of summarize it into three kind of categories. And one of the things that I struggled with was not so much struggled, but I had an awareness that a lot of the other women in this program were talking about their advances they made, or their opening up their allowance to higher income levels. And that wasn't something I was experiencing, but I also realized that's not what this experience was about for me right now, because my shifts haven't been financially, because for me, that just wasn't what I needed to work on. And I think a lot of the times we get into something thinking this is what we need to work on, but the program shows you what you need to work on. I think like it helps you do that. So for me, the first thing was understanding how to tap into my own gifts, because I had seen that at different times, but it was not something that was consistent. So you showed me that. You showed me how to live outside of hustler mode, which was something that just came to me in the last couple of days. And when I was journaling this morning, which is possibly the biggest shift, and I'm still kind of like mind blown about it. And the third one was just how to be me in this world as an introvert, as somebody with trauma, childhood trauma in my past, as somebody who feels things and absorbs things very deeply. I always felt like an outcast. So I thought that might be the one I would resonate most with and feel the most transformation with, but it actually turned out to be the hustler so far. And I understand why now, but it just blows my mind how I got what I needed, even though that wasn't what I needed out of the program.
Yeah. And you're only halfway through, and it's, it all depends which stage of business you're in also. And you've just those inner shifts are what lead to those outer shifts in life and in business too. And what would you say is like the biggest shift in you, in how you feel about yourself?
I feel like I've spent my whole life trying to find myself and feel comfortable in my own skin. And I can honestly say that I am comfortable in my own skin, and I have no doubt that I have found myself. The last 2 weeks specifically have been such a crazy spiritual journey for me, almost an accidental one that was triggered by just a little road trip with my mom. And it's like the universe or the world is giving me breadcrumbs and clues that are leading me back home to myself. And this program was the thing that opened up my awareness to see the clues and to follow the intention and the guidance. And it's just unfolding amazingly. Like I can't even put it into words. It's like, it's bliss. I have a tattoo on my arm that says follow your bliss. And that's where I feel like I'm at in my life right now.
That's amazing. So almost like an awakening of some sort by the sounds of it then. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was joking on my social media about, some might call it a midlife crisis because I'm 49, but I feel like I know it is a spiritual awakening or a midlife awakening. It's alchemy. It's magic. Like everything's just happening at the right time. And I understand my journey now, where there was always puzzle pieces missing.
Yeah. And you mentioned there that you've gone through childhood trauma. Quite a lot of the other women in the group in the academy have all different forms of traumas, of course. And without going into too much detail, of course, what is different? Because I think you have done lots of inner work prior to the academy, But what has been different about this, do you think, compared to other things that you've tried in the past?
A lot of the journaling work that we do in the program has taken me to a deeper level that I've gone before. And I've done all different kinds of therapy. I've worked with a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and I've done CBT and all that kind of stuff. But there was something just something about the process, the questions, the continuing to go deeper, the asking yourself, or, keep asking the same question to get through the layers. Like you provide a path for us to continue peeling back the layers in a way that is still, it can be uncomfortable for sure and bring up emotions and everything and feelings, but it's a safe journey. We talked about how hard it is to put some things into words, but the journaling process was very definitely a part of it. And I think the other really important part of this is because you've experienced it yourself. So it's not, for somebody who's trying to find healing, it's not necessarily working with a clinician or a mental health professional who you don't know their story and you're not likely to ever hear their story. So there's always that little bit of doubt in the back of your mind because you don't know if they really truly know what they're talking about. And because you share your experience, we know that you've been in a similar place and you've found a way through it. So there's another level of trust there where I think we allow ourselves to go deeper because of the environment you've created.
Thank you for sharing that. And all these incredible shifts that you've had in you, how are they showing up in your life?
The most recent one was the hustler. And I realized how, because I work in a very male dominated environment all day long, I was really struggling to find the balance between the two. And I just realized the other day, I was reading something about the hustler and I thought, well, this doesn't, actually, I was listening to the last module 5 in Wealth and Worth Mastery. I haven't even gotten through it yet because I had to stop and start writing and leave it for a day to percolate. But I realized that how the hustler shows up in different ways. And probably the most powerful thing for me is that I understand the energy and how to watch for that energy. And when I feel like I'm in doing anything that's coming from that hustler or masculine or over-determined energy, that's the hustler. And whatever I'm doing isn't going to be that productive. And I'm finding that I can work less hours and be more effective in my work, which is opening up so much space inside and outside of me, which just, there's a ripple effect because I'm calmer, I feel more comfortable, I'm more relaxed, my creativity is flowing through me. 2 mornings in a row, I've had literally million dollar ideas for businesses, for my business. And I'm just like, oh, now I'm really getting it. I'm understanding, because I was so fascinated by how you are willing to share, first of all, but your ability to, how you channel, how you open yourself up to these spiritual downloads. And that's maybe the biggest thing for me. You've given me an example of who I can be in the world because you're you. And I'm understanding how I can be me, which is, I'm just very in alignment with the way you do it, but I didn't know that. And now that I'm opening myself up to it, the insights and the downloads and the passion that's coming through me is, I just want to like put the fire career aside and go like spread my glitter dust. It's so amazing.
And we haven't even got to the intuition and innovation module part yet. That's your part in the academy. So look out when you go.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
And has it changed the relationships in your life?
Definitely, because I've actually the time I spent with my mom, I was one of, probably most women have mommy or daddy issues or both or one or the other. And I'm definitely one that, I was going to put this in the group and I don't think I did. Talk about a way to heal your mother wound, go on a road trip with her and you'll heal it all. But
Trapped in a car.
she had actually been up for a visit and she lives 10 hours away from us. So I was driving her back. And normally when we do this trip, my husband and I, we drive straight back to home where we were from and we basically come back. And he didn't go with me this time. So almost as soon as I left the house, I started thinking, well, I can do this however I want. Let's take more time and stop halfway and get a hotel room and treat ourselves. And the more I opened up to that, the more I was like, oh, there's a little shop I've always wanted to stop at. I'm going to follow my tuition and go in there. And it was just lovely. And the more I did that, the more I relaxed into who I am and who all the people in my life are. And instead of that friction that was there before, it might come up a little bit. And then like with my mom, and then I'd be able to be like, this is generational. Like all the teachings that I've experienced in the academy so far, I may not have thought they were resonating or that I was absorbing them. But then this experience, this opportunity presented itself. And all of it was like, oh, now I see where Natasha talked about this. Here's my opportunity to live it and practice it. So by the time we got to my mom's house, I ended up staying for a few days. We just hung out together and spent time together. I spent time with my sister who I've had issues with. And it was like everything just, it didn't disappear, it dissolved because I've done the work, but here was the opportunity for me to actually put it into practice. It was just the most beautiful experience of my life. And when I came home, I had a very difficult conversation with my husband I'd been avoiding because part of me wanted to move back to where we were from, where we moved from a year ago. And he had just started a new job here a year ago. So it was huge conflict for me because I was like, I don't know how to start this conversation. What I found though, because of the course and the work I've done, I was able to have that conversation without fear of where the conversation went or of his, emotions that would come up or his reaction. And it was so powerful for me because I've never had that before, where I knew that no matter what came out of it, I would be okay, that my husband and I would be able to work through it. And it was just so powerful for me to speak my truth and not worry about anybody else's reaction.
Yeah, huge
Just
shift there. And I know, obviously, we talk about financial up levels, and I know that that will be part of your journey too. But it's so important to share all the non-financial things because these are priceless. These are things that money can't buy. And however many years of different therapies haven't been able to uncover for you, but in 3 months, like huge changes in you and in your relationships and in your life and in your business also. You've taken action that you've resisted taking. What changes have you seen there?
Well, I did another course as well that was designed, a 3 month course to set me up to launch the course that I built. But what I found was that I wouldn't have been able to, I could have done all the steps because they gave me all the tools, but I wouldn't have been able to follow through on it had I not been in this course, because what I realized is this course has given me the foundation. So where I was kind of even comparing myself to other women in the program who are experiencing amazing changes and increases in their income, although I have no doubt that that will come for me as well, I questioned why I'm having such a different experience. And I realized that's where I kind of realized the program you will get what you need out of the program. And for me, it was the foundational part of me, because if I didn't get that sorted out, nothing I did going forward was really going to be effective. A year ago, I was doing presentations where I was making $1,000 an hour, and then I hit that point, and then everything stopped, and it stayed stopped until now. So now, because I've created this connection to myself and learned how to to channel that and be me through watching you demonstrate it, I know that that's a huge reason why this portion of my business is now going to be more successful, because I've finally solidified the foundation. So the business is going to, I'm sure, take off.
Absolutely, I have no doubt. And that's a really good thing to share, is around those foundations, because I've grown my business to 6-figure months without having the right emotional foundations in place, and it all came crashing down. And that was my journey, end of 2019, start of 2020, and that was the whole inspiration for the ultimate up level. It's not just about the financial. Like, there's no point having the financial up levels if everything else in your life is going to suffer as a result. And it's this, I know you're only halfway through, but the foundation that you've got now is that's like a lifetime foundation. It's going to create so much more for you.
Yeah, and I think that's what's been so powerful for me is that connection back to myself, because it's like building a house on sand that's going to get washed away, or it just, you need that foundation, or your success won't last, or you'll probably end up in hustler mode or something. You'll be overworking another area of your life to maintain that. But I just again, it's hard to put into words, but it's just I have no doubt at all that anything that I do going forward is going to be the right move for me and the right path for me, because I have this foundation that I'm starting from.
Yeah. And your $1 million ideas have already been
2 of them now.
I'm
So excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that develops. And if, I know it's going to be a hard question, but if you had to pick one thing, what is like the biggest shift you think for you?
Trusting myself.
Mm.
Because I always I definitely was somebody who looked to the outside world for my worth, my value, to show me who I was. And now it's flipped. So I know who I am, and I'm not afraid to put things out into the world and try new things and do new things. And it's not about trying to get energy or support from people in my life. It's about, it's reversed in that I now see, when I take care of myself, how, and operate from the place I'm in now, how much more beneficial I can be in the lives of my family and my friends and my community. It's instead of me trying to gather the energy from the outside, I have it, and it's now about sharing it from the inside.
I love that. And if anyone's watching this thinking, should they join the Ultimate Uplevel Academy, what might you say to them?
Absolutely. Join. It really is actually, I think I wrote, it's the key that unlocks you. So we had talked about how I was journaling this morning to try and help myself communicate everything that I've experienced and be able to share that. And actually the image, I'm a very visual person, and the image that came up to me at the end of my journaling, which might sum it up the best, was, it's like having a little shop, or imagining a little shop that you walk into, and it's warm and it's light and it's amazing, and you feel warm and welcome and beautiful and magical as soon as you walk in. It has everything in it that you love, and you just feel like wonderful, blissful. And then, but something happens to affect this little shop, and the light goes out, and the weeds grow over it, and the windows get dusty, and nobody would even know that little shop's there unless they knew what to look for. you, Natasha, know what to look for, and you help us cut away the weeds and clean the windows, and you breathe light and life back into this little shop so it can shine again, and then like heal the world. That was the image that I got, and I'm like, that's exactly what I feel like.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And also, anybody watching this who wants to find out more about you and your amazing body language work, where can they find out more?
My Instagram feed is Jenny on a Mission, and my website is jennifergriggcoaching.com.
Thank you for sharing that. And for anyone who's watching this thinking that they do want to get involved with the Ultimate Uplevel Academy, we are enrolling now. So get in touch and I can share the information for that with you. Okay, that's it from us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me, Jen, and bye for now.
Thanks so much, Natasha.